Episode 1172 of the Multifamily Collective. Tonight, I want to talk about interview questions. We just did an episode, literally 2 seconds ago, about interview questions, and I shared one. I want to share another one. Um, it's given cause for me to think that I'm going to attempt to categorize some of the Multifamily Collective content into series or a series of series. um, so that we can sort of categorize this content into usable and valuable information. So the question I want to share tonight is, or again, this evening, what's the most important lesson you learned from this experience? So you've probably heard many versions of that question. Again, this one comes out of a Leadership Challenge workbook. But you probably heard many versions of this question. So if you're asking somebody about something that went wrong or something that went well or very well, you want to understand the thought process, right? You want to understand two things. You want to understand the lesson that they took from the experience. So I made a decision and it yielded this outcome, and that outcome was negative. What is the lesson I learned in that? That outcome was positive. What is the lesson I learned in that? And more importantly, how did I employ that in my go forward effort, right? So a follow-on question to that might be the lesson you learned, but how did you make application of that lesson on the go forward? Is there another story you can tell me where, based on this experience and the lesson you learned, you put that lesson in place and you were able to achieve a better outcome in the case of a really good outcome the first time around, or if it was a bad outcome the first time or the first situation, you have now a better outcome because you learned this lesson and you put it into place. You made application of it. But you also want to learn, what is the process? I think it's really important. I think it's really important to understand how people think, right? You and I could get to the same outcome, but think about it in completely different ways, sometimes in completely opposite ways, right? Your workflow to an outcome could be different than my workflow to an outcome, and both are equally valuable because they produce the outcome, especially if the outcome is an outcome you wanted for your business, right? Or in life in general, in your community, etc. And it doesn't mean that my way is any more right or wrong than your way, it's just different. And many times we lose the value in that because you get it in your head that there is only one way to do something. Therefore, when you hear an alternative way to do something, you just default to your way, and you can't see that way because the only thing you can see is your way. So learning lessons, but also learning how people got there. That's important. Take care. We'll talk to you again soon.